Hey guys, Devin here from Scooters Canada. Today's video, we're going to go over some basic tools and supplies you will need to build a scooter mechanic stand in-house. So we'll go over a couple things here. We got some pretty basic tools here. We also have some pretty powerful tools here, which I don't recommend younger kids using. Parental guidance, or get your dad or mom to do it. So first things first, we got a power grinder here with a blade to cut off axles. We grind slits in handlebars. Any type of big job like that where we need to cut something, we'll usually break this guy out. Remember, never operate any of this stuff without proper eyewear. Another tool that gets used a lot back here. We have here a cutting guide. Typically what we're going to use this for is to cut handlebars or pegs or fork steer tubes. You put whatever it is you need to cut in here, and you got your two guides here. Take your hacksaw, run it right in that guide, and you can cut pretty much anything with this guy. It comes in handy a lot. We also have a generic 12-inch hacksaw with a steel blade on it. Cut handlebars, pegs, forks, all that type of stuff. Works really, really well. We have some multi-purpose waterproof grease by a brand called Crazy Grease. Works really, really good for pretty much everything we build and work on here in the shop. Remember to apply this when you're putting in bearings, headset cups, anything where you're going to have two of the same materials that are going to be against each other. Put them in bolts, anything like that. Next we have some wrenches, metric only, remember. So we've got a 13mm ratchet with a 13mm socket on the end. Typically uses when we're throwing on pegs and stuff. Typically you can get this right inside the peg, tighten on your nut. Works well. 13mm wrench, the other side of your axle without a peg. Typically 99.9% of scooter axle nuts will be a 13mm wrench. Next we have some Allen keys here. Now remember, you want to use metric Allen keys only, not imperial. Easy way to tell, metric Allen keys will use standard numbers. 5, 4, 3, 2.5, 2, 1.5, 6, 8, and a 10. Whereas the imperial that you don't want to use will run fractional numbers that look like this. Take these and hide them somewhere. You're going to use the 5mm and the 6mm Allen key the most out of this whole set. Examples of using these guys, pretty much all these proto bolts that come with them are all going to be 5mm bolt heads. Little quick tip, when you're installing these bolts in a brand new proto, get your grease, apply grease on the threads. Something like this, and make sure those are greased. You use your 5mm Allen key and that'll thread your bolts all the way in there. Be sure to grease all 4 bolts. Tilt clamps, same scoop, but these guys actually use a 6mm bolt. So you can use your 6mm Allen key, and that's how you're going to adjust those guys. Whereas the compression bolt on the inside of the tilts, when they're in there, are usually a 5mm Allen key too. Your scooter axles, your aftermarket axles that you'll find on ScootersCanada.ca, run a 6mm bolt head and a 13mm nut on the other side to tighten and loosen the axle. If you guys own a District V4 or anything with an ICS compression device, get yourself a nice long 5mm Allen key. Usually they're always going to come with your V4 completes. If not, if you've lost it, anything like that, hop up on our site, ScootersCanada.ca, and you will find them on there. Nice sharp X-Acto blade. Nice knife. Use this to cut off your flanges on your grips, trim off grip tape, anything like that. Usually comes in handy. Be careful when you're using these. Really easy to slip and cut your hand. Another example of using metric Allen keys you'll find on a lot of scooter brakes. It runs a 3mm bolt head. To get those guys in and out, and it'll run a 8mm nut on the bottom. Next we have a air compressor attachment, typically used to put grips on and off your handlebars, blow out any grit in your bearings, clean up bearings, anything like that. Put your air hose on the end and it just blasts air out. We got our rubbing alcohol, which we use to sometimes put grips on and off and to clean the top of decks before we apply any grip tape. We have a flat file and a round file. If you guys are cutting any bars, trimming any axles, any sharp points like that, you can take your file to file any sharp edges, or you can take your round file to file out the inside of your handlebars or anything like that if you've cut your bars down. Next we got our 36mm flat wrench. Typically designed for threaded headsets, made by a brand called Super B. You'll find this on our website, ScootersCanada.ca. And a large adjustable wrench to tighten that top nut. This guy pretty much comes in handy for everything. Last but not least, we got our trusty rags. Wipe up any type of shop mess, anything like that. And that's pretty much a generic overview of most of the tools you'll need to do any mechanic jobs in your garage or anything like that. 90% of these tools you'll be able to find on our site. Any other oddballs you'll be able to find at a local hardware store or anything like that. Here we go, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or concerns, give us a call at the shop or email us if there's anything else you'd like to see.